Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Hobbitcraft, the Minecraft Let's Play where we like to do all the things. Let's do a little recap. Last episode, we built this ugly little shack down here below us. It's supposed to be a bookstore, and I started the building from the inside out. The outside doesn't look so hot, does it? Not so hot at all, but we're going to fix that up today. That's the plan anyways. And I have something else I want to do. We're going to get technical today, guys. We're going to get real technical. I think I'm going to figure out a new command is what I think I'm going to do. But I want to come down here first for a couple reasons. One, we went through the... oh, you know what? Let's put these on before I get too distracted. But I want to feed these guys up because we've been going through the books. Is this guy not going to eat? Are you guys not interested in eating? Eat, please. Where are the hearts? Why am I not feeding these guys? What's going on? Is my animation not working? What is going on with this? You guys see what the issue is here? We're feeding the baby cows. Why are these not? Oh, you know what? I bet they're still... You know what? They still haven't bred from the last time I was over here, I bet. I bet that's what it was because this was unloaded. I bet that's what it was. But you know what? That's kind of half the purpose of why we came over here. Because I wanted to unload the area that we were in just a minute ago. Because I guarantee if I do, let's take a flight over here. If you guys remember these animations that we got going on over here, this is working great now because of Elysian helping us put this area into our actual chunks that are always loaded. What are they called? Home chunks? No, something. I don't know. I'll figure it out in a minute. But anyways, I guarantee this thing's not going to be working now. Let's look at it because this isn't always loaded. Oh, fantastic. You trying to prove me wrong? Trying to make me look like a fool? This stinking wheel. I'll tell you what, every time I come over here, we just did this one last episode. We made this thing animated. We had our pig smith. Pork smith. Somebody mentioned that in the comments. I thought that was great. But this is our pork smith now, blacksmith pig, ran by the pig here. And so this animation going all the time. But every time I come over here, except for now, of course, when I'm recording, it tries to make me look like a big fat liar. But every time I come over here, it's just flip-flopping all over the place. It's going crazy. And then I go down into the area below, into the belly of the beast. And you can see why. It's because the redstone's got multiple signals going on. Let's see if this one's going to prove me right, or if it's going to make me a liar too. But this one does the same thing. Is it going to hop around on me? No, it's not. Of course not. These stinking things. I tell you what, they work when you only when you're trying to prove a point. It seems like, but these things keep messing up on me, guys. And I'll show you an example of it because I guarantee at some point during this episode they're going to be flip flopping all over the place. And I'm sure you guys have seen it happen in live streams. But the point is, I think I have figured out how to fix that. I think I figured out how to work around that to where that will never happen again. At least I have an idea of how to do that. Because, and let's show you why I think that'll work. Because so these over here, those work over in the field area, over where the windmill is, all that stuff. That works because they're always loaded. Those chunks are always loaded. They're your spawn chunks. That's the word I was looking for a minute ago, guys. I knew I'd think of it eventually. But those are always loaded, so that's why they always work. But the thing is, these over here, they're not in spawn chunks. So when I fly far away and I come back, then the chunks unload and these things stop rendering. And if it happens in a certain situation where maybe half the signal's loaded, half of it's not, I don't really know what it is exactly. But when that loads and unloads those chunks like that, they stop working. They end up with multiple signals and they cause a lot of errors and issues, and I have to always fix them. This one over here is not in chunk always loaded chunk load situation over here, but it works every time. And the reason that it works every time, I think, is because it's not continually running, right? It only runs when I signal it to run with that little button there, or when I step on this pressure plate and it takes me up to the top of the mountain there. So I think the reason is because of that. So what I'm going to do, what my solution is I'm going to set up something. I haven't figured this out yet, and this is where the command blocks come in place. I think there's a command that will essentially activate a comparator or whatever you tell it to only when your player is within a certain radius. So I'm thinking within I don't know, 6 or 7 chunks, maybe 8 chunks. We can, when our player's within 8 chunks of this thing, then we can activate it. And then when we leave 8 chunks or within 8 chunks or whatever, when we're outside of that, then it will automatically deactivate. So I have to figure out, what exact point that's going to make sense for us. And I'm going to have to figure out how to deactivate it. Activating it is easy. I think we can do that pretty easily with this command that I've got. But I'm going to have to figure out how to deactivate it. And I've got an idea. We'll see if it works. The other idea that I've got that this will actually relate to is over here. Remember how we had the parrot situation? Remember how we've been trying to find parrots forever and we can't find them because this game's being a big fat jerk to us? Yeah, we can't find any parrots because I don't know why, but I guess because I've already got this world in or whatever. But this place over here, which is really pretty when it's not in winter time like it is right now, this place over here, we want to put some parrots, right? And I think we can do this. The reason that I want parrots over here is because I think they'd make a fun little visual for this area, but more than that, I want them for their chirping, because I think when I walk through this area, if you guys remember the episode where we decked this out and made it look real pretty, I had some bird chirping in the background, and I thought that was pretty cool. Well, you know what? Those stinking parrots, while we're over here, let's do this right here. Those stinking parrots, we don't need them. That's what I'm trying to get at here. We do not even need those parrots. We're going to figure out how to make this thing work without parrots. Now, I eventually want to go get the parrots, but I think I've got actually a pretty cool solution, if we can get to it today, on how to actually make this place over here have the pretty sounds and the bird noises and all that good stuff without the parrots. And we can only do it because we're in Hybridcraft and we don't mind jumping into creative occasionally to get commands and structure blocks and all that kind of stuff. So that's the plan for this episode, guys. There's a lot going on. We got building, we got commands, we got all kinds of mess going on, but that's the whole idea is, whoa, not to hit that tree. That's the first idea. I failed at that, guys. But second idea is to go ahead and make this place completely interactive, and sometimes that means going into creative, and that's why we call it Hybridcraft, because it's a little bit of everything, isn't it? And as you can see from this stuff right here, I've already been testing a few things, so I'm gonna go test that stuff completely. I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to build it, and I'm gonna show you guys how we do what we do and fix this place up so it actually works. These stinking broken things. Booyah, guys! I've got it working already. I cannot believe it. Well, I say I've got it working. I think I've got it working. My theory is in action, and I think it's going to work out, guys. It's worrying me. It's a little too easy. I don't do anything easy. I always do things the hard way. So what is about to happen that's going to make this hard? I don't know. But there are 2 mechanisms here, guys. 2 mechanisms. Count them up. 1, 2. Good job, guys. Good job counting with me right there. So basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to have this mechanism, this area here, this mechanism here with this command block is what's going to activate this thing. Okay. And then this one here is what's going to deactivate it. And this is how. If you look at this right here, it's got a little bit of a command here. Super simple. It says test for the nearest player within a radius. Right now it says 7 just for a test, but we'll change that to be something like 6 chunks. But right now it's just 7 blocks, and that's the way was for me to test it. So as you can see, as I cross that threshold, it activates, and as long as I'm anywhere within 7 blocks as of right now, this thing will be activated. So all we got to do right now is I've got to set up a little bit of a pulse here, because if I have it on non-stop, it's not going to work. Like if I do this number right here and it's powered non-stop the whole time I'm within the range there, then it's going to be constantly powered, and that does not work, friends. That does not work at all. So you've got to have it chasing itself, like when we first came into this part of the video and how that light was just chasing itself around this thing. That's what you want. So that's why we have to create a pulse here. So we'll come back. I'll show you that here in just a minute. I think I can do that pretty easily. I've done one on the mob farm that worked out pretty nicely. So we'll do that again. So that's how it activates. Anytime I'm within the set number right here of blocks away from this command block, it will activate. Now, how do I get it to deactivate when I get further than that? Well, that's a trick that I haven't learned yet, but I think this is how we're going to do it. I think I'm going to put in a command that is almost exactly like this. It's probably going to have an exclamation mark here, because I think that means not. So I'm not sure exactly. I got to look that code up to see how to do that. But I'm going to input a command very similar to this that I'll show you in a minute into this block. I'll make it a repeating block just like that, so it's constantly checking. And then it'll activate this block right here. And all this is this right here. So let's try this to see if it works, because I'm curious if I reload this right here is it going to reload it without any power, or is it going to load the power up too? So like this right here, this is what this will activate eventually, this thing chasing itself around like that. So if I load this right here, is it going to get rid of this powered up redstone? That's the question is right there. So let's load it and see what happens. Is this the right place? I think it is. Hopefully this works. Oh, it does not. Okay, so that, well, there's the hard part, guys. I was wondering when it was gonna, yeah, that's the hard part right there. So we're going to have to do something a little different. I'm going to have to load an airspace and delete this. All right, I know how to do it, guys. I already know how to do it live with you right now. What we're going to do is we're going to load a block that deletes all of this, and then we're going to load this right back in place. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. It should be pretty simple. Oh yes, oh yes. I think we figured it out, guys. Look at this right here. Boom, we saw that a minute ago. Essentially, that is what gets it started. And let's just go ahead and stop it by backing up a little bit. Boom, there we go. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited, guys. It's still in, we're still using the number 7 right here. Same thing up here, but as you can see, we've got this little, I think I did not have this in there last time I was with you, but yeah, this thing right here is basically what causes this to turn into a pulse signal, and that causes it to chase around right here. As you can see, it's pretty simple. It's just a sticky piston with a block followed by a repeater right there. If this is redstone dust, this does not have enough power to signal the whole thing, so it does need to be a repeater. Like I said, make sure these things are faced in the correct direction. Oh, and this right here, by the way, it was just an M. It's exactly the same command as this one. It's just M, I'm assuming, for minus, radius minus 7, or no. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but basically that's the way it works. If you go outside of a radius of 7, then that one will kick in. And then what we did here is we just load in a bunch of air blocks in this exact spot right here, followed by a delay right here I had to put in because it did not work without the delay. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit longer delay, as long as I can, just to make sure it works when we make this work at a longer distance in a minute. And then this reloads the whole thing, just like I showed you a minute ago. So yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. All we got to do now is set up a little contraption like this at each one of these places that is outside of the loading chunks, or the home chunks. What did I call them? One of those chunk places. But yeah, basically this will, and then maybe over here, this one doesn't give me too much trouble for some reason, but I might have to set up one for this area here, and then over in the crane area as well. And let's change this. 6 chunks ends up being 97 blocks. So we will click done there, and then we will click 96 blocks here. Done. And now this thing's going to keep running until I get at least 96 blocks away. So let's see what that happens. Let's see what that happens. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Can I speak English? Apparently not. Let's see if that happens. Let's see if it works. If we get 6 chunks away, it should kick in here in just a minute. It should stop its rotation wherever it is. It doesn't seem to be working though. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, let's do this. I'm pretty sure I'm at least 6 chunks away. If we go to F3G, okay, we are in a chunk right now. We're going to go through this wall to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4. This is number 5, and this is the 6th chunk. So we were definitely more than 6 chunks away. Why you no work for me? Okay, we may have to think about this a little bit more, guys. If I don't figure it out, please let me know in the comments below. What am I doing wrong here? Until I come up with a better solution, which I don't know if I'll be able to be honest, guys. I don't know why that's not working. It definitely should be working. All right, I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be working now, guys. I've got it at 2 chunks. I'm going to try it again at 4 chunks. Just re-entered the code in the command blocks. I really didn't change anything, but apparently something changed. So yeah, it looks like it's working again now, guys. Woohoo! And now, guys, we're looking at 6 chunks out. Let's zoom in and walk forward, and as you can see, oh yeah, it's working mighty fine. Oh my goodness, I'm excited about this one, guys. I think we might have finally fixed all the issues we had in our world. We just got to spread the news. We got to spread this little mechanism around the world, and I think we'll be doing pretty good. And it is update time, guys. Let me tell you what, we got a big hole in the roof. Oh my goodness. The rain's gonna come pouring in. What are we gonna do about it? Now, this is where I started because I thought this is where the tower will extend from. This will be the base. I may not have anything up there at all, guys, but I just wanted a tower. I feel like this is a magic bookstore. It needs a tower. Come on. You know it does. The other thing I want to show you, a few issues we've had. See this right here? Let's go look at the other side of it. Where is it going to be? It's going to be right here. And I can't get rid of this because this is that back wall. So this has to stay here. So what are we going to do? I don't know. Obviously, the obvious choice is to build a chimney there, but it has to be this based on the inside because I love that brick texture on the back of the fireplace there. Interior, it looks really good. But if I've got a brick roof, which is the main thing I wanted to do other than the tower on this build, then that's not going to look good. So I got to figure that out. And here's something that I thought about right here. What if we pretend there is no fire there? What if we pretend on the outside, you may never know that there's a fire in there. What if we pretend maybe this is some sort of stand, like an outdoor sales area, or maybe just some sort of advertising that this is a bookstore. So we could have maybe like a mini bookshelf, or kind of like, you know, like if you go to like not like a flea market, but if you go like to a downtown area, a lot of times the stores will have displays and things for sale outside the shop as well. So I'm thinking maybe we could set something up like that. We don't have a lot of options in Minecraft for those kinds of things, so I'm not sure if it'll work or not, but I think that'd be fun if we could do something like that. So I'm going to work on that, see if I can come up with it. The roof itself, I already talked about the fact that I like that it's this brick here. I like this arch here, this curvature. That's a pretty cool thing that we've done before that a lot of people do, so nothing special there. And then over here, we've got this weird funky shape. Basically what I did is I took what was a weird funky shape and I turned it into something normal by squaring it off. If you remember, it had this round arch here, and that's because of the roof on the inside, and I didn't like the way it looked on the outside, so I thought there's nothing stopping us from just creating our own completely different shape on the outside. And I think that's going to be a good thing because these walls are going to be pretty plain and boring without windows. And so this will afford us the opportunity to put some depth and texture and just make something up there that is not going to impact the inside at all because there's nothing there, right? So we can just kind of make something up to make it look good around the edges of the walls like that. And I'm gonna have to do that to all of the walls because they're all pretty plain. I mean, this is the most detailed wall we have so far, and it's just got 3 1-block windows. Nothing big deal at all. It's kind of lame, but we'll figure it out. And I think things like this, if we can turn this into some sort of decorative area, I think that'll be pretty cool. Now, I will say this, that tower is going to have to be pretty stinking tall because I wasn't anticipating my roof sticking up this high. I thought it was going to be a much lower roof line than that, but I like that shape, so I'm going to keep it. We're going to make it work one way or the other, and we're going to figure out a way to make this tower kind of hopefully crooked. I'm not sure because I don't even know what material I'm going to use yet. I was thinking bone, but to make it crooked, I really need to use some stairs and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the big scope. Everything's going on. Not a whole lot yet. Just took me a little while to kind of figure out these shapes. I had some issues like the fireplace you saw that I had to work out. Like, what do I do with that? There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. Like right here, this area here is just the way that the roof line is supposed to slope is like that. And then you're left with this weird thing. And I'm not a fan of that. So, you don't have a lot of options there because you can't place, you can't place anything like that right there because it's a half slab situation. So I just brought this down. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. We'll live with it. If I come up with something better, I'll show you guys. But otherwise, it's just, minor stuff like that. There was a lot of little things I had to kind of iron out. But I think we're getting there. I got to get this roof line finished, and then we can work on that tower. And then maybe some walls. And that's basically it. But we're going to try to do a few things that make this thing Scream Magic Bookstore. See if we can't get up to something cool. Well, guys, a little time has passed since the last recording. In fact, I just came in from 2 hours of mowing in 108-degree temperature, and I feel like I'm about to die. Oh my goodness. But it's okay because we're inside now. We're feeling refreshed and refined and all that good stuff. But you know what else? I thought we were good, but then I realized something. Something has changed in this last update, something I don't particularly care for. But some of you guys have been around a while. You would know this, but up here we had a situation, and even over here, I believe, where we had an item frame up right here. And the idea was, if you put up a sign like this, you could put an item frame on the side of the sign like this. But you can't do it anymore. And it looked pretty cool because it kind of stuck out like that. And I really liked that. And I was going to do that to our bookshop to kind of indicate exactly what the store is. But now all we can do is this little kind of sideways thing going on here, which I renamed the Porksmith, by the way, for you guys. But yeah, so I don't know, it's not as good looking, but you know what? I guess we'll just have to deal with it, won't we? But anyway, let's go take a look at some things that we did on the build that we are focused on this episode. You see it coming into sight, and first and foremost, you realize some of the colors are darker. And I think I mentioned in last episode, and I think in this episode as well, I wanted this to have a really dark theme, and that oak wood just wasn't dark enough for me. Now I think it's looking pretty good. Look at that twisted tower going up there. I think it turned out pretty good, guys. I think it did, but all I did on the exterior was finish that roof off that we were working on a little bit ago. I varied up where the placement, I built it correctly, and then I went back and I just kind of beat it up and put stairs where they shouldn't be, stuff like that, just to give it kind of that more tiled look. Threw in a couple of these. What are these? These are terracotta now, aren't they? Not clay. They're confusing me as if I don't have hard enough time with the words as is. Then we placed around some shrubbery and some bushes and all that good stuff. And I really didn't do anything to these walls. You know how I was concerned that the walls wouldn't be interesting because there weren't any windows or anything? Well, I think just by placing the stairs and the shrubbery and stuff around it, I think it's got enough interest now. I really dig it. I think it doesn't really need any design or anything. And since we wanted this to be a beat up old place, it works out perfectly. So let's see if I can get a good view from this angle of the tower and everything. I haven't looked at it from here yet. Hello, excuse me, fence, get out of my way, please. Thank you very much. But yeah, I think it looks cool. These big trees, that's the only bad thing about the big trees, as they do kind of hide your cool buildings like that. But I think it's more realistic, and I like it a lot better, guys. I think it's cool. I think it comes into view and it's like shabam, shabam, right, right in your face. And all of a sudden you see it, and yeah, man, I like it, guys. Tell me what you think. I think it turned out pretty good. Obviously could be better, always can be, right? And then I did something real simple here. We talked about that already, and I just kept it simple. There wasn't really much to that right there, but yeah, this is what we ended up with, guys. This is pretty much it. Let's see the inside real quick. We've already seen that a bunch, but the only thing that's really changed in here, I think I mentioned that we moved anvils in here before, and then I have this open tower here, and I think I'm going to leave that open. I like it. I like it like that, so I think we'll just keep it that way. Everything else is the same. I had to change out some of the wood colors. You can see some brick coming through there, but I think it looks good. Just add some character to it. Use some dark oak. Oh yeah, and this right here, this roof line here, this part right here that does this number here, this used to come all the way out to the edge here. And one of my goals for this build was to try to have more variety in height and in every way that I could, a bunch of different layers. I'm all about layering, but I've kind of gotten away from layering in height. So that's why I wanted to go up the stairs onto the porch and then down the stairs into the building. And we've got a lot of layers inside. We've got that enchantment table that's raised up on a pedestal kind of, and then it goes down into a basement kind of area to see all the library area. So it works out on the inside really well, but on the outside, all we had was this. So I had the idea to put a tower, which I think looks fantastic personally. The other thing was this porch here, which I had, but with this pulled all the way out, it just didn't have as much variation as I wanted. So I decided to go ahead and throw a completely different roof texture and all that stuff on this thing. And I think that was a good idea. So let's see if we can get a view from an angle way out here. And yeah, I think it's going to nestle in. I think this is the kind of style that I'm wanting to go with more for the area, I think. You can see over here in our houses, I've gone with these more steep roofs over here lately. And in fact, I think even way back when we did this, what will one day, I keep saying, be a hotel, this one here's just got a, the plain 45-degree angle roofs, whereas this one here's got a little bit more of an angle to it, curvature wise and all that good stuff. So there's one more thing I want to do. Let's take a landing here, and I want to add some more trees in. Since I was just complaining about them covering the view, let's cover the view a little bit more. It makes it a little bit more realistic, right? And I think we've got area right here. I think in real life you would use this space here somehow, and we could put a garden or something. And I think the easy thing for us to do is just to put another tree, since I want to kind of really put a lot of trees in this world. And then the same thing applies over here. You've got this huge area here not being used, and it's not big enough to put a building, so let's put another tree in there and see what it looks like. All right, we got our trees up. We're going to take one final look at our magic bookshop over here, guys. If you want to download this and put it in your own world, check out the description. I will have a link to the MBT file so you can include it. Send me a picture if you do. I want to see what it looks like. Also, be aware that you're going to have to place it, what is this? 1, 2, 7 blocks down because of this big basement. Make sure you do that, or else it's going to look kind of funny. I always recommend using a test world first, just in case. And but I went ahead and put another green tree over here because we needed that. I feel like a little bit of a combination going on over here, and I need to make a few trees because I'm realizing I've only got a few and I need to make a few more, so I might do that here pretty soon. And I probably should have gone with a yellow tree right there because the red kind of blends in with the brick a little bit, but that's okay. I think it works out. We might replace that one day, and it looks a lot better when it's green as well. So anyways, guys, this is the whole kit and caboodle. I think I mispronounced that horribly. I don't know what I was trying to say, but I think that's a sign that we're going to wrap it up here, guys. I hope you had fun this episode, got to learn a few things. I know I certainly did, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next episode or even a live stream. Until then, as always, keep it creative.